Good day to you, dear friends. Today, in these uneasy times, I would like to present the research that we conducted jointly with the Commissioner on Protection of National Language. And I would like to say that the Service of Quality of Education, we control their educational process, also in the part of implementation of the state language. During many years, we had some claims regarding the compliance with legislation of in this issue, and right now we try to make a more complex view on this issue and see what's happening in the educational system regarding implementation of the state language. That research was conducted via online questionnaire, where parents, children participated, school children, and also the teachers. We wanted to conduct that, and we did that in a way they provide, the sociologists provide, to have a proper representation, and practically all the schools and all the territories participated except for Luhansk, Donetsk, and Kherson regions. More than that, we mostly try to question schools that have IDPs, and you can point your attention to almost 15% who participated, they are IDPs. Regarding our research and main findings of our research, I would like to say that almost 58,200 people participated. And you see the split, how they participated. We covered almost 1% of all the educational institutions, and 60% are in the rural area and 40% in the cities. Regarding the results, if we look at the selection of the communication language, the majority of respondents, 89% of teachers and 82% of parents and children, marked that they think that their native language is Ukrainian and use it in all the spheres of their life, speaking with family, in education and culture, etc. At the same time, almost 20% of parents and children don't think that Ukrainian language is native. What is related to IDPs here, 19% of IDPs, they said they speak only Ukrainians, 29% speak Ukrainian and Russian the same way, and 10% mostly Russian language. We today are speaking about certain results of our research. More fuller information about our research will be available on our website of our service and on the site on Commissioner of Protection of Ukrainian Language, where you'll be able to see in more detail the information that we present to you right now. For us, it was important to see how the national language is used in the during an educational process. So, regarding teachers, according to questionnaire, 94% of teachers conduct lessons only in Ukrainian. 82% use study materials. 73% they speak during the class in Ukrainian, and 63% only use Ukrainian during the breaks. For many times we saw the trend that also questionnaire demonstrate that during the class they use to the full the state language. However, during the breaks and beyond school, that percent is quite less. And on this slide, I like to point your attention that 11% of students during the class, they speak Russian language, and 17 speak Russian language during the breaks. If we look in more detail on the language of the educational, beyond the educational institutions, among friends and relatives, the dominating trend of high use of state language. 86% of teachers use the Ukrainian language, 78% of parents, and 62% of students. Once again, it's a demonstration that school, educational environment is where the state language is used. But beyond school, those trends change a bit. I would like to point your attention to that part of the slide and to address the directors of schools, to teachers, to founders, to administrations, that we need to focus more effort to ensure use of state language, not only in schools, but beyond schools. Also, we looked at and we conducted a questionnaire regarding perception of language content in social networks. The vast majority of teachers, 85%, 59%. The 85% of teachers, 70% of pupils, they use Ukrainian language in social networks. But you can see how it changes according to the category. And in the end, dear colleagues, not to take a lot of time, I would like to point your attention about the causes that hinder use of the national language in all the spheres. Here is an interesting trend that speaking with a stranger that addresses them in Russian language, 19% of parents, they immediately switch to Russian, 26% of students switch to Russian, and 19% of teachers switch to Russian. And calling flexibility of Ukrainians and speaking with Russian-speaking counterparts. However, we think we need to look at this issue from the other side and try to still ensure principles of implementation and use of state language in the educational institutions and beyond. The second question that impacted on the opinion of respondents and of use of Russian language is the impact of Russian-speaking environment. Our colleagues demonstrated, and we provided the opportunity of free choice, free interpretation. What really impacts that? And many respondents, especially children, showed that there's a lot of content of movies, internet shows, YouTube, training programs, internet contact. They're still in Russian language. So we think that has a negative impact on use of Russian language in the educational environment. Indubitably, the third place respondents show that there is a lack of level of proficiency in Ukrainian language. And in that part, we will speak, and Taras will try to finalize our research with what we need to do. We need to continue teaching the Ukrainian, improve teaching Ukrainian, implementation, different kind of trainings and other educational events. And I spoke also about it, about consuming Russian language, informational, cultural, and entertainment content. Even though the results of questionnaire, they demonstrate that more and more willing people, and there is a big trend towards that, that more and more participants of educational process and their parents, they are inclined to use of state language, of Ukrainian language, of popularizing Ukrainian language, and use of Ukrainian language, not only in the educational process, but also at home and at speaking with relatives and close ones. I thank you for your attention, and I think Taras will continue and we'll wrap up. And in our recommendations that we prepared according to the findings of the research, we address the school principals and teachers and students and founders of schools. Please continue comply with the legislation, law of Ukraine about education, law of higher education about implementation and ensuring national language in the educational process. All the other recommendations that we today discussed, you'll be able to see on our website. Thank you for your kind attention, dear friends and colleagues.